Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of the True Blue podcast. My name is David Harper, and I'm joined by Mr. John Hamilton. Today, we're going to talk to John a little bit about his time in trucking, some of experiences in working with us here at Melton, and we're going to dive into a couple of other topics as well. So follow along, guys. So, John, man, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background look like?
Hey, how's it going? John, Army veteran, did 13 years in the military, did some time as a corrections officer, and then got into trucking, and here we are.
Awesome, man. 13 years in the Army. What was your MOS?
I was a field artilleryman. I was a fire direction specialist.
Awesome, man. Well, I work closely with our military programs and a lot of our veterans here in Melton, so I appreciate your service. Even though I was a Marine, I'll throw you a hooah for our Army brother here. So, John, I'm curious, man, 13 years in the military, you have some, correctional officer experience. Now, how did you find your way to trucking?
It was actually a recommendation from a family member who thought I would be good into it. So went and got my CDL, got into trucking, and been doing it ever since.
Okay, cool. How long has it been since you've been to CDL school?
It's been about 3 years since I went to CDL school.
So you've been around the industry for a little bit then.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So you've obviously done some different types of driving. What kind of experience do you have?
I have dry van, some refrigerated, and a little bit of flatbed from my previous time here with Melton.
Oh, so you have been around, huh?
Yep, just a bit.
Okay. So has a lot of that been like over the road driving? Is it local, regional? What have you mostly been up to?
It's all been over the road.
Okay. Now, what do you enjoy most about driving over the road?
Just a change in scenery, different loads and places you could go to that not a lot of many people get a chance to go see.
Yeah. I talked to a lot of, veterans, some of us joined the military for the idea of travel and adventure, things like that.
Mhm.
Right. But it's not always in the military. It's not always a type of travel that maybe we have in the back of our mind. But in trucking, it's kind of cool, the travel that we get to experience as truck drivers. You get to see a lot of places that, most people don't really get an opportunity to do it. And what's cool is you're getting paid to do it, right? So, John, tell me, are there a couple of places that you've traveled to across the country? Some places that stick out to you, maybe some of your favorite, experiences that you've had so far?
Definitely traveling in the northwestern states, Wyoming, Montana, beautiful places to travel through. Great scenery.
That's pretty country up there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, is there certain types of freight that you typically haul? I mean, is there like a favorite haul that you've had, something really cool that you've hauled from one location to another, anything like that? Anything that sticks out to you?
Probably lumber because they're easier to secure and tarp, but
Yeah.
I just look forward to hauling anything.
Okay. And you talked about having some other experience. So you haven't just worked here with Melton Truck Lines.
Correct.
What was your experience like working for other companies or, doing that drive-in or reefer experience? How did it compare what you've done here with Melton driving flatbed?
Right. So with dry van, it was pretty interesting. Uh, going to other locations. The first company I drove for delivered to Tractor Supply stores. Uh, so, but honestly, coming to flatbed, great workout, to be honest with you. And always finding different loads to haul, which was one of the reasons why I came to Melton in the first place.
Right. So you came in and got some experience with us, getting that workout. Flatbed is a little bit more physical, like you're saying.
Yes, it is.
But let's say when you stepped away from Melton for a while and you were working with some other companies, was there any things that you missed about flatbed while you were away driving with them?
Driving down the road and seeing all the Melton trucks out on the roadway kind of made me miss the friends that I made with the company when I was here before, and just the excitement of different types of loads that you can get, because it's always an adventure in flatbedding.
Absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely true, John. I mean, there's a saying out there, flatbed is a brotherhood, right? So it's building those relationships, with those other flatbed drivers, flatbed a little bit more unique, than the sea of drive-in drivers and reefer drivers out there. And you're right, it is an adventure sometimes of, hey, how are we going to secure this load, tarp this load, move this load from point A to point B? So there's a little bit more that goes into it.
That's exactly
Uh,
it.
but when you stepped away from flatbed and thinking about as you rejoined us, was there any new, skills or perspective, any other insights that maybe you gained during that time frame that's going to be more beneficial for you as you made that return to flatbed?
Basically, I just used the knowledge that I gained the first time I was here, and it made coming back that much easier. I kind of already knew what to expect coming back, and it basically turned into muscle memory. But
Okay.
going through orientation, learning some new things that have changed between then and now, and so we're refreshing, but then gaining new knowledge.
Okay. All right. So thinking about, the return to Melton, right? So
Mm.
we would consider you a rehire. You worked with us before. You left the company to go pursue some other opportunities, and since you've returned to Melton as a flatbed driver, uh, what was it that Was it a single moment? Was it a gradual realization? What was it that prompted you to say, "Hey, man, I want to get back into flatbed"?
I would say it was a gradual realization. I kind of missed uh, the atmosphere of Melton. And every time I've seen the trucks, I always get, the nostalgic feeling that I need to go back. So that's what
Right.
prompted me to come back.
Okay. And whenever you reached out, did you reach out to us or did we reach out to you?
Uh, Through time, I did get emails saying, "Hey, we'd love to have you back." So eventually, I reached out and said, "Hey, I would love to come back," and
Okay.
here we are.
And what was that experience like? Was it a welcoming conversation? I mean, did we express our, gratitude for your previous experience with us and kind of show you the love that you're hoping to see to come back on board with us?
Yeah, yeah. They were appreciative that I decided to come back. The application process was quick and simple. Uh, and then once I got in with my fleet, I said, "Hey, welcome back." And I was glad to be back.
Okay, cool. Now, once you're back in the seat and you're feeling good, I mean, did you notice were there any changes? Was anything different, or did you kind of just settle back in and it was almost like you never left?
The only change was the truck that I got into. That was really the only change. But other than that, everything was basically the same as it was before.
Okay. So, we talked to a lot of other drivers. We talked to a lot of, drivers who are just getting out of training and getting ready to come into the industry. And I love sharing insights and advice from other drivers. If there's any lessons that maybe you learned from, that journey of working with Melton and then leaving for other opportunities and then coming back to Melton, is there any insights, advice, anything that you would share, with another driver if they were, looking to maybe do something along the lines of that?
I would say that, do your research first. Make sure that you understand what it is you're getting yourself into because flatbedding may not be for everybody, you
Right.
know. So just make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. Coming to mountain flatbedding as a whole is a very enjoyable experience. Um, you make good friends. It's a good family, and I would say that they would enjoy it if they give it a try.
Okay. So research, right?
Yeah.
I know it's easy to sometimes we get that feeling that, the grass is greener on the other side. So we might be in a in a role that we're working. We, have our truck, we're working with our company, and, we see some advertising out there. We see a commercial, we hear something on the radio, and it's like, man, that sounds really good. You're, I like what you're saying. Hey, do that thorough research, really dig into it, learn about what it's all about, because you got to learn the good and the bad. There's going to be pros and cons to everything. And I always like that, advice of do that thorough research, make sure it's going to be a great fit before you just jump in it head first. Right.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Um, so John, you've been in trucking for a few years now, right? Is there any ways that you've seen that maybe the trucking industry has evolved over these last few years, or, maybe where do you see it heading?
Uh, I would say that there's definitely a lot more trucks on the road now than there were probably in the past.
Right.
I have family members who are trucking, and honestly, freight, just like anything else, fluctuates. So, as they say in the military, hope for the best, but expect the worst.
I love the mindset. You carry that from the military to trucking. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
So, John, I'd like to, maybe learn a little bit more about you here, or maybe hear some funny stories that you might have. Whether it's while you're working with Melton or another company, over your experience the past few years, do you have any kind of, memorable or funny stories from your time out on the roads that you'd like to share?
Doing a lot of driving with different companies, they're good things, bad things, but I would have to say one memorable moment was with a previous company driving from Oregon to California, having a blowout in the middle of nowhere, waiting 5 hours to get a tire changed. But and that's really the only memorable thing that comes to mind. Just a lot of fun that I had with Melton the last time I was here, and fun I look forward to having this go around.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's never fun in the middle of nowhere, waiting 5 hours, blowout. That we talked about good and bad, pros and cons, they're all over the place here in the industry, right?
Right.
So, I mean, thinking about that though, being out on the road, for days, weeks, sometimes being stuck out in the middle of nowhere, waiting on that tire to get fixed or whatever the case. I mean, how do you manage your time away from your family and friends? And, like, how do you stay connected with them? Do you have, certain things that you guys do, certain times that you talk? How do you manage all that?
So I have quite a few friends that I've made either through the military, trucking. I've made some friends in this past orientation, and we're always talking to each other every single day. Same with family. We probably talk once a week. But what keeps me going is my dog that I have on the truck with me. He keeps everything entertaining.
I love it. Yeah, that's one of my pieces of advice all the time whenever I'm talking with veterans, like CDL schools and things like that. Hey, find your battle buddies and take a companion out on the truck, whether they have 2 legs or 4 legs, right? Take that companion out there. Really, it makes a difference, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Very
Okay.
much so.
Now, is there, maybe a place that you picked up or delivered to? Is there like a unique place or a unique place that you, slept overnight or anything like that? Is there anything that kind of sticks out, something that might have been special to you, the story that you like to tell people?
Uh, Definitely visiting the Iowa 80 truck stop. that
Tell me about that.
So Iowa 80 truck stop in Walcott, Iowa, the world's largest truck stop. And it's one of those places where you definitely want to have something, money on you because, you're going to want to spend it. There's a lot of things in there that you want to buy. But they also have the Trucker Museum. And then every year they have what's called the Trucker Jamboree. I have yet to attend it, but very great place to go.
Yeah. I've never been up there myself. I know my father-in-law, he's a over the road driver and he's told me about it as well. But yeah, it sounds like you've experienced it yourself. Kind of reminds me whenever you're telling me about it, for us non, truck drivers of like Bucky's, of, hey, if you're going to go to that gas station, make sure you got money you're ready to spend because it's just a cool experience, right?
That's exactly it.
All right. So let's look forward. It's been fun getting to know you, John. I appreciate you sharing your experiences with us. I'm thinking about, and I don't know about you, but I always kind of wonder, what does the future look like for trucking, right?
Right.
So I would ask, just from a personal perspective, but also, your view on the industry. Do you have any goals for your future, career? Do you see yourself staying with Melton long term, or do you have bigger goals? What does that look like, from a personal perspective for you?
So I most definitely wish to keep going trucking until I have to retire. And I would absolutely love to stay with Melton. Uh, One goal is to get one of those beautiful trucks that I can pick myself once I reach 1,000,000 miles. Uh, and Basically just staying with Melton. That's the reason why I came back.
Awesome. Okay. And now if you could change one thing about the industry, I have a feeling I think I know what you're going to say, but if you could change one thing about the industry or improve one thing about the industry, what would it be?
It would definitely have to be what would be considered the number one issue, and that is parking for the industry.
Shocking that would be, yes, that is the number one issue for everyone. Any ideas on how to improve?
Uh, I really don't have any ideas or any suggestions.
Yeah, that's definitely for people way above our pay grades for sure.
Exactly it.
But it is something that needs to be fixed. John, I appreciate you joining this episode, kind of sharing a little bit about your background, your experience in trucking, and kind of some personal information about yourself as well. Is there anything you want to leave us off with here before we shut down for the day?
Uh, Anybody looking forward to coming to Melton, you won't regret it. Great place to be.
You heard it here first. Thanks, John.
Thank you
Very
very
appreciative.
much.